Here we go. Do do. Everything's set up. Getting it all started. Alright. Well, I need to literally stop that. Okay. Alright, yep, we are doing the Headless Ghost today. Yeah. So, we have Dwayne and Stephanie, the twin terrors of Wheeler Falls, after a Halloween night where they scared kids and stole their candy. They decide to scare the neighborhood and become the titular terrors. Now, like any substance that gives pleasure, it gets old fast, so they decide to go to a haunted house in their town. The house is called Hill House. Or, well, I think it's a little odd that it's called Hill House. So for the rest of the video, I'll be calling it House that sits on a steeply elevated patch of land. Alright. Now, not incurring. Yeah, I was making this, which obviously anyone knows about copyright. Knows that if you call something Hill House, you're going to incur the wrath of Shirley Jackson Systems. That's why we don't have Nosferatu. Anyway, once at the house, they see that their favorite tour guide, Otto, leads them on a tour of the house. Then Stephanie gets the bright idea to look around for the head of Andrew Craw, the Headless Ghost himself. The story behind the house is that a sea captain who built the house died at sea before he could enjoy his life with his newlywed wife. And at some point, a candidate for deal-like behavior, Andrew Craw, looks for the sea captain. He finds him, and the captain pulls off Andrew's head. Now, I always remember the episode where it's easy. It goes snap like a chicken leg. I'm like, bruh, I don't know what you're talking about because I've never snapped a chicken leg. That sounds awful. Anyway, with this in mind, which is a legend within the town, it's not like it's factoring them. Stephanie peer pressures Dwayne into helping her find the head. This kind of goes on for a few chapters. Otto catches them. He has them taken back to the tour group route, and then they exit the house. Upon leaving, they are stopped by a boy named Seth. Now, no offense to any kid named Seth, I've never had a good experience with them. I have this book and a kid I knew in middle school named Seth. They're not that good of people. Or at least from my experience. You may know Seth, and he's like the raddest dude to ever live. But yeah, I just never met a cool one. Yeah, but I digress. Yeah, so Seth says to Dwayne and Stephanie that he can show them real ghosts. All they have to do is sneak into the house in the middle of the night without their parents knowing that they knew a kid, or they met a kid that they don't know in the middle of the night, to go in a house that's supposedly haunted. Yeah, I don't know. Doesn't sound strange that you're going into a house in the middle of the night with a kid your parents don't know that you know. Alright. Seth tells them about a possible person, a guard named Manny, that there is there in the house, kind of guarding it. So they have to be very quiet so that they don't alert him to their presence. and to follow him into a room without of earshot. I guess how Billy changes too. But in any case, to only cement my jokes about him being a serial killer, Seth, locks the door and gets into his fantasy, saying that he's Andrew Craw and he needs his head. This backs Dwayne and Stephanie into a corner because, quite literally, to the back of the wall, and the wall behind him gives way, with a creak, showing that the wall is kind of a false wall, kind of like some Scooby-Doo like shit where it flips around or opens, and that ends in a cliffhanger. Now they go to the end of this tunnel, which is not even their height, and they're like 12, so that's like probably a little closer to like here, just in a place where they have to hunch over for fear of hitting their head. Right? In the presence of, now they run to the end, up to the cliffhanger, and they find that there's a ladder that leads up to a room. Now this is the part where I was a little unaware of everything. I was kind of a little tired at this point, so I don't remember if they went to a separate room or still in the tunnel. But in any case, they find the head of Headless Ghost, which they just find there, assuming that they just found a head and it wasn't really his ghost. Are you certain you wouldn't be freaking the fuck out? I don't know. Anyway, the ghost descends to take its head, and this gets Dwayne and Stephanie questioning who Seth is. This time, which the book doesn't state, but I'm pretty sure it's about 10 or midnight, basically, because I think it was 10 o'clock around when the last kind of tour ends. So, and they went in an hour after the last tour. So I think that chronologically the time right now is maybe 12, maybe past 12 at night. In any case, enter Otto, who finds them and name drops Seth as his nephew, and chews him out as he gets them out of there. Sometime later, because this took place in November, we find out that in the spring, Dwayne and Stephanie have actually been doing different things. Dwayne, he's been doing sports as boys in Arlstein tend or opt to do, and Stephanie has been doing theater or something else non-sport like, as Goosebump girls are tend to do. And they go into the house for one last time and find that Otto and I think her name's Elaine, I'm not certain. Esther, that's it. Esther is her name. She's a very old lady. Otto takes them on one last trip, and they're all there alone. After they exit, they see cops pull up to the sidewalk and ask them what they are doing. They tell them, yeah, we just took the trip, the tour. The cops are like, what were you really doing? They're like, we just told you, what's your problem? Never mind. No. If you guys see where I might have been going, yeah. Alright. Now, the cops say that the house has been closed all winter. Dwayne looked back, see Otto and Esther in the window. Both see-through, and that's the end of the book. Now, one thing I have a problem with is, where did these kids get the money to scare kids? Because in the book, what it talks about is, they would place rubber spiders, and they don't talk about ever retrieving them. Otherwise, how would you do that? So, where do they get the spider? Where do they get all the money to pay for these rubber spiders and all these doodads to scare kids in their neighborhood? Also, what is their homework like? Yeah, I know this is maybe a bit of a too adult way of looking at it, but come on. I don't. It gives me a big problem when stuff like this, like when things aren't looked at logistically. Obviously, if a kid had written this, it would make a little more sense, but it's not. It's an adult who knows these things. Anyway, but no, the book is okay. I don't think it's necessarily bad, bar that one glaring issue. No, the ending is very grim to me. I like that. Because that implies that Otto might have been alive, possibly, during the events of the book, but not the last chapter. And so was Edna. But that means if that we go that route, that means Otto and Edna must have died, within days after the chasing and finding of the head. Or if say it's every tour guide was dead. Shut up, phone. Say every tour guide was dead. They were haunting the place. Does that mean they were keeping up appearances? And technically the cops just never knew that the place actually closed because of everyone going in and out? It gets very dark, depending on how you look at it, because let's take the first thing that they died recently, within the last 3 months. Does that mean Seth had to go to his uncle's funeral? Yeah, Jesus Christ. I don't know. I like it. If you're bored, I'd say this one's a pretty good one. Yeah, have a good day.